Could you tell me what executive experience you have in terms of running fairly large organisations, which you'll have to do as Gensec?
Well, my experience is unlikely to be quite on the same level as the other two, but what I have been doing is less so organisations, but I've been running bars and things like that. I've been running Bankside Bar for a couple of years now, so making sure that running smoothly, running events, integrating it with the rest of Bankside and making sure sort of it's unified with the restaurant, things like that. I've been helping to set up Crush, things like that. So in many ways I don't have the same sort of experience as perhaps my other candidates and that sort of thing, but I think I have relevant experience which can be translated into it, and I'm up for learning and I'm up for getting into it and really preparing for it. So I will need to learn, I will have to improve my knowledge of that sort of thing, but I'm ready to do it, and hopefully I've got skills from other things which can transfer into it.
Are you trying to say running a bar gives you experience of running a students' union? Well, I mean, how would you have dealt with the Israel Palestine occupation earlier this term, which was a huge crisis for the union, and you'd have to take a massive role as the Gensec? How would you deal with it?
Well, yeah, I'm not saying exactly that it's exactly the same, I'm just sort of saying that's my experience that I hope can translate somewhat. I think with that sort of thing, I think it's important to stand up, be bold. From my personal point of view, I would have looked to take a more neutral sort of standpoint. I would have looked to get myself out there, get my view straight down, talk to as many people as possible. I'd look to step in. I'd look to try and support the Jewish society a bit more, as I don't feel they were helped enough, and that sort of thing. I think my experience is about sort of communicating with people and talking to people and getting people involved in things, and that's what I would have looked to do to sort of assist that. That's where my experience, I think, is attributable to that sort of thing.
You're known for your AU background, and the AU likes to field candidates in most races in most years. So what marks you out from other ones? Are you just an identical candidate?
I don't necessarily think. I think I seem to have got a lot of support off the AU. I don't necessarily think I'm an AU candidate. I'm part of the pool team rather than one of the big major AU teams, sort of footballs and stuff. What I believe is my main strength is that I think I'm confident in lots of areas. I know lots of people from sort of different places. I know the halls people in Bankside and a few other halls. I am in with the AU. I have a little bit in the media group, not a huge amount, but a little bit. And in the SU and in the bars here. So I think I have a broader range than a lot of the AU candidates. Just to repeat, I'm not a definitive AU candidate, but some of my policies are geared to AU, and I do think the AU is very important. I do think it's perhaps been a little bit neglected in the last year or two, and I think it could do with some more support. So yeah, I would say perhaps I am biased to the AU compared to the other two, but I don't want to say I'm a definitive AU candidate at all.
What's number one problem for the union? What are you going to do on day one?
The number one problem, I think, is that people are completely disillusioned with the student union. I mean, most people don't even know who the sabbaticals are, and I think it's important, first of all, to start contacting heads of societies and things, get them involved, get everybody integrated. I mean, obviously day one is July the 1st, so the freshers and people won't be back yet, so it's going to be about talking to all the society members, talking to people in halls who are running the halls and stuff, to make sure they're on board, just talking to everyone who's going to have as much contact with as many people at the start of next year, and really get the union unified as soon as possible, which obviously can't happen really till late September when everybody's back, but make sure the foundations are there, so when people come back, it'll be ready and we can actually get this union back unified where it should be, where I believe over the last probably 2 years it started to become fractured and very sort of people felt complete disillusioned and separated from the SU.
You've been a regular guest on a poll show over the year,
yep.
And you've come out with some quite right-wing views in this role. Are you trying to turn the SU blue?
Oh no. I sort of joked about a few things and perhaps inappropriate, at least perhaps not at all. I am actually, I would say, left centre. I'm trying to probably in this election move a bit more centre because I think we need a bit more of sort of a central position, a more neutral position. I'm generally, I don't like to set myself a certain political stance. I think I'm pretty flexible, pretty open-minded. That's what I've always tried to do. And so absolutely not. I'm not Tory. I've never really been. I've thought about all of them. In fact, if anything, switching a little bit towards Labour. But no, not at all. I do think we do need to go back to basics a little bit, which is perhaps could be considered a little bit conservative. But no, not at all. Not at all. I don't want to be blue at all. In any sense.
All right. Great.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.